So here's a key question that you're asking yourself: how to choose between data science and data engineering roles. So if you read through job postings for data scientists, for example, and data engineers, right, you will find overlap between the required knowledge, skills, and education. So in fact, the company's goals for the two positions can sound similar. So how do you choose between the two? In this video, I'm going to explain the key difference between data science and data engineering. So let's dive right in. The ever-evolving landscape of data-driven industries, the roles of data scientists and data engineers have emerged as a distinct yet interconnected professions. While both roles play a crucial part in managing and extracting value from data, their responsibilities, skill sets, and objectives often differ. So a few years ago, the primary focus was on cleaning insights from data, right, or gathering insights. However, as the industry matured, the significance of robust data management and garbage in, garbage out became more popular. This shift in perspective has brought the world of data engineers to the forefront and emphasizing the symbiotic relationship between the two, and that's how it emerged. So data scientists and data engineers work in tandem. Each skill set is equally important and has a future, in fact. However, it was recently reported that only 1 in 10 data science projects make it to production. Why is that? Because data projects are mostly complex and time-consuming. They require the full contribution of both data scientists and data engineers. Projects fall through the cracks for a number of reasons, right? But often the data teams cannot get past through production pipeline phase due to cumbersome data sets. Now, without data engineers to build strong and reliable architecture, data scientists cannot efficiently analyze data. So projects become delayed and sometimes drop altogether when teams run out of time and money. So on a day-to-day, for each role, let's focus on learning the specific skills for each role that you want to choose. So your career choice is clear when you know exactly which part of the focus that you want to get into. So ask yourself a few questions. Skills make a good data scientist or data engineer? 2, skills are better suited to you or not? Whether these skills are good for me to make me successful? Can I be motivated to perform the task in this area? Do I want to contribute, right? So here's a breakout of typical responsibilities for data scientists and data engineers. So let's take a look at the career outlook first, so that you understand each perspective. Now, there are important distinctions between data science and data engineering. The top priority is to determine how you want to spend your time every single day. Now, once you've done that, there are other considerations including job outlook, demand, and salary. The career outlook for both data scientists and data engineers is promising, much in demand, because data scientists have been much in demand for some time and recruiters are looking for data scientists. While it is nice to have a single data professional with ideal communication skills, business acumen, and creativity on top of SQL, which is structured query language, the more realistic division of labor is more efficient, right? Now, companies now focus on recruitment efforts on building data teams. Now, these are composed professionals of different complementary skill sets and allow more room for specialized data roles, such as data engineers, for example. Now, as companies desire to move data to the cloud, they will need to improve the data flow and storage. Now, focus on recruiting data engineers will only increase, right, because of this. So Google Trends data job has grown over the past decade and only projected to increase in the future. Now, data science and data engineering job opportunities across the variety of industries. Let me give you those. Whether in government or healthcare, companies understand the need for data science and any discipline. Now, data engineers' responsibilities, for example, is someone who develops, constructs, tests, and maintains architectures, such as databases and large-scale processing systems. The data scientist, on the other hand, is someone who cleans, massages the data, organizes the data, and then pushes it, right? So, for example, it reflects the difference between data engineer and data scientist even more. So, the efforts that both parties will need to do to get the data in a usable format is considerably different. The data engineers deal with raw data that contains human, machine, or instrument errors, right? The data might, for example, contain such as, garbage records or unusable records or unstructured, right? Now, data engineers will need to recommend and sometimes implement ways to improve data reliability, efficiency, and then quality. To do so, they will need to employ a variety of languages and tools to basically bring the systems together or try to hunt down opportunities to acquire new data from other systems so that it is functional. For example, the information and further processing by data scientists, right? But the two is, in fact, that the data engineers need to ensure that the architecture in place supports the requirement of the data scientists and the stakeholders and the business. And lastly, to deliver the data to the data science team, data engineering team will need to develop, data processes for data modeling, mining, and production. So data scientists' responsibilities, for example, is basically usually will get the data that's already passed the first round of cleaning and manipulation, which they can use to basically use and create sophisticated analytical and machine learning and use statistical method for using the data for prescriptive modeling. Of course, to build models, they need to do research on the industry and ask business questions and need to leverage large volumes of data from internal and external sources to answer business needs. Now, this also sometimes involves exploring and examining data to find patterns. Now, data scientists have done the analysis. Once they've done so, they need to present a clear story to the stakeholders, and once the results get accepted, they need to make sure that the work is automated so the insights can be delivered to business stakeholders on a daily, monthly, or yearly basis. It is clear that both parties need to work together to bring the data and provide insights to businesses so that they can make decisions. Now, there's a clear overlap in skill set, but the two are gradually becoming more distinct in the industry. While the data engineer worked with database systems, data APIs, and tools for ETL purposes, and will be involved in data modeling and setting up data warehouse solutions. The data scientists need to know about stats, math, MATLAB, and machine learning to build predictive models. Data scientists needs to be aware of distributed computing, as you will need to gain access to the data, of course, right? It makes sense to give it to the data engineering teams, but he or she will need to report to the business stakeholders as well, a focus on storytelling and visualization of the data. Now, what languages and tools and software do each of these use? Of course, the difference in skill set translates into differences in languages, tools, and software that both use. So, let me give you a couple of examples of various tools for them. The tools that both parties heavily depend on is conceived in the company's context, right? Because every company uses its own tools. So they use like SAP, Oracle, Cassandra, MySQL, right? React, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, Neo4j, Hive, and other tools. Data scientists, they will use SPSS, R, Python, SAS, Stata, to build models. So the differences, right? The most popular tools, without a doubt, are Python and R. Okay. Now, when you're working with Python for data science, you will mostly often resort to packages like, Plot2, for example, to make data visualizations, right? Or R for data manipulation, or Pandas. Of course, there are many more packages out there that you can use, but these are just the popular one for your data science projects, right? And there are others are like MATLAB, Matplotlib, stat models, and so many. So in the industry, you'll also find that commercial SAS or SPSS they do pretty well, such as tools like Tableau, RapidMiner, MATLAB, or Excel will find the way to the data scientist toolbox. So one of the main distinctions between data engineers and data scientists, right? The emphasis on data visualization and storytelling is reflected in the tools that I just mentioned. So languages and software that both parties have in common, right? As you might have already guessed, right? Are Scala, Java, and C#. Other languages that aren't necessarily popular for both data scientists and engineers, right? You could argue that Scala is more popular with data engineers because of the integration with Spark, and especially handy to set up large ETL flows. Same goes a bit for Java language at the moment, right? Its popularity is on the rise with data scientists. But overall, it's not, widely used on a daily basis by professionals. But all in all, you'll see these languages popping up on job openings for both roles. The same can also be said for tools that both parties can have common, such as Hadoop, Spark, right? Of course, The comparison in tools, languages, and software needs to be seen in a specific context in which you're working, right? And how you interpret the data science roles in question. And data science and data engineers can closely work together on specific use cases where the distinction between the two teams are so small that sometimes the two teams are merged. In terms of educational background, right? Data scientists and data engineers might also have in common, right, the computer science degree or computer science background. Now, this study area is widely popular for both professions. Of course, you'll also see that data scientists have often studied the econometrics, mathematics, statistics, and operations research. They often have a little bit more business acumen than data engineers. And you often see that data engineers also come from engineering backgrounds. And more often than not, they have some prior education in computer engineering, pretty common, right? What about salaries, bottom line, right? For example, in the US, the average annual data scientist salary is somewhere over 100K, almost double the national average salary. Now, across different countries, this is a similar trend with the average data scientist salaries, at least 30% higher than the national average. And for example, in other parts of the globe, salaries are pretty comparable. Data engineers' salary, by the way, in the US is about $110,000, $120,000 per year, right? Which is fairly high, and in fact, more than double. So, depending on where you want to go, which role you want to choose, I hope I have provided you in-depth and clear analysis so that you can decide what to choose. I hope this helps. Comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions. With this, I'll see you next time.